Hey there, new types. Missed a week due to real life commitments, but we're back again, and this time it's with an old favorite of the channel. As expected, the meta has shifted week to week, and some lists have stayed true to form, such as Blue Green Londo Bell featuring the new Gundam, and many varieties of Strike Freedom lists, such as the Purple Blue Tekkadan variant that you'll see in this video. Now that we have some defined pillars of the meta, some lists have evolved into different and more tuned beasts like the Red White Mobile Fighter with Master Gundam, or pushing Command Navy lists like the Blue Red Banshee. As such, this seemed like the perfect time to visit one of my old favorites and try and take advantage of the new tools GD05 has brought to the table. It's still NTC season, and we've been seeing some interesting decks popping up here and there. And while I may not think the meta is as varied as people hoped, I do think that it's been leveled out in terms of viability. I think it's a great time to brew and a great time to play some decks you may have otherwise avoided in a meta like GD04. If you like what you're seeing here, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. And if you can, drop a comment below. Let me know how you're doing, how you're finding GD05, and whether or not you have any questions for me, or perhaps some suggestions to help improve the channel. I love reading all of it. I appreciate all the interaction you guys give, and I do my very best to respond to every comment you leave. I'm doing this for the fun of it, and as the channel grows, I'm only encouraged to keep moving forward. However, I think that's enough yapping. Let's get to showing you just what Londo Wing is capable of. Mission start. All right, so we're starting ourselves off here, cutting each other's decks. Start us off with an 8 for the dice roll. My opponent rolls a 4, so I do opt to go second. My opening hand is a Wing Gundam Zero, Hero, New Gundam LR, Peace Million, and Darkness Finger. So I do throw it back, hoping for a better hand. My opponent decides to keep theirs, though. All right, so he gives me the cut, and I look at my new hand, which is not looking fantastic at all. 2 new Gundams, the rare versions this time, an Amuro and 2 Peace Millions. We're not loving what we are seeing here. On my opponent's second turn here, he does get the grays down. Draw and pass for me. He takes a swing at my shields, or my EX base rather. Plays down a Hyakuran. And believe I drew an improved technique on one of these. He plays 3 down for a show of resolve. Then goes to break my EX base with his grays, makes a swing with the Hyakuran, and I get rid of it with the improved technique. He passes the turn to me, and I go to my level 5, thankfully. Once again, I just sit there and pass my turn to my opponent. He is now on his level 5. Makes a swing with his grays, takes out one of my shields. He plays the Strike Rouge, and then plays Kira onto it to draw a card. Takes a swing at my shields, and gives me an Amuro to hand. End of the turn, I close combat him. Draw a card. Place my resource. I'm at level 6 now. So I play the new Gundam, and then play an Amuro on it. I don't get the EX resource because I don't have enough Londo Bell in the graveyard, but this will do enough to get rid of his Strike Rouge. I take 5 and heal 2, leaving me with 3 damage on my new Gundam here. Plays a gun tank to deal 1 damage to my new Gundam. Plays a Gusian, dealing 1 damage to his gun tank, and 1 to my new Gundam. Then plays the Mika, dealing 1 damage to his Gusian, and finishing off my new Gundam. Passes the turn to me. I am at level 7 now. Don't have enough to make an LR new work, but I do have a piece million in hand, so I play that down, get myself a card. Play Wing Gundam and a hero on top of it now that I have that piece million out. So I eat his gun tank, breach him, send a Hyakur into the graveyard from that. And now my opponent is on his level 8 turn. He does a quick count of his units in the graveyard. I believe it's only 3 applicable units right now. Or 4, 3 or 4, something around those lines. Opponent rests 5 resources, plays himself down the Lupus, exiles 3 units, deals 2 damage to my Wing Gundam, and then he sends his Gusian into it to get it off the field. Passes the turn over to me. I am now hitting my level 8. Fortunately, I've been able to develop a bit of a hand. Play down Kara's Regizi. Look at the top card. I don't know what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was like an amuro or a new, and I decided to keep it. So I leave it on top. I play Airframe Seizure, discarding one of my new Gundams to fill up my graveyard with enough Londo Bell. Draw 2. And then I play Wing Gundam and pass my turn here. Opponent plays down the first form, pairs Mika to it, deals 1 damage to Kara's Regizi and 1 damage to the first form, takes a swing at my piece million, and draws a card. Plays an Isaribi down, gets a card to hand, finishes off my piece million with his Lupus. Then he plays a pair of first forms down and passes the turn. He does have a fairly scary board. However, I have a wingzero in hand, and I just count that out, so he pretty much knows what's coming. But I do sequence this in a particular way. I take a swing with Kara's Regizi to deal 3 damage to the Lupus. I finish it with a Darkness Finger. And then I rest everything and burn my EX resource to play wingzero down to clear out all 3 of those first forms. Take a swing at his Isaribi just to put some damage on it. Opponent is counting out how many units he has in his graveyard that he can burn my units with. Spends 1 for an Axis, recycling that base and drawing a card out of his shields. Plays the Lupus, contemplates whether or not he is going to spend the resources out of his graveyard yet. And I think right now he has decided not to do it. Play down the new Gundam. Link Amuro to it. Remove 3 Londo Bell from my graveyard. And basically battle it. Killing it, taking 3 damage overall, and dealing 5 to the Axis base. Play down a Peace Million, get a card to my hand from my shields. I break his Axis base, take a swing at his shield, and then take another swing and put him down to 1 shield. And he scoops from there, holding a Strike Rouge, a pair of Strike Freedoms, the Floros, and the Widespread Destruction. All right, so let's dive right into this one here. I think that was an interesting showcase of what the deck can do. The beginning of the game was very shaky, as you saw my terrible mulligan, but the cards did fall into place as I needed them to. And as you saw, the commands, what they do for the deck are really just buying you those early turns to kind of stabilize you, very much like the blue-red commands list. I think that package is pretty proven already. I don't think it needs too much stating of how useful and good it is. It's not as heavy in this build, obviously. You only have Close Combat, Darkness Finger, and Improved Technique, and Airframe Seizure to kind of dig through your deck. And the second part of it is the Londo Bell part. As you saw early on, it wasn't really easy to necessarily get cards in the graveyard, so that is going to be something that does make this deck play a little slower. It's not a fast deck whatsoever. It kind of plays like a combo Timmy deck. You are building still similar to your Londo Bell package in green blue, and you're playing new Gundam with Amuro or Hero, because it is only on pair, not link. The variety in the deck with the 3 different packages kind of coming together is what makes this kind of lethal. During this current time, this is actually a fairly well positioned deck, especially into new Gundam matchups, just because you have the commands to deal with their early game, and then your end game is actually generally bigger than theirs. If they're not playing new Gundam, their units kind of cap out at 6 AP. You have a ton of big booty units in this deck, and they're usually fairly high value. So if you can bide your time, you can generally play to a fairly stable end game. As you saw, where this deck basically played down the wingzero, it was able to follow up with the new Gundam, and that's kind of where this deck wants to be. You want to be playing things that control the board and then finishing out with new Gundam. It's not going to be the same speed as the green blue build, but the new Gundam does act as a big finisher that just takes control of the board, similar to wingzero. And wingzero with the new Gundam gives you a lot of leeway into playing just big units and taking control of the game. So just having big booties means your opponent has to generally have 2 cards or a link unit to actually deal with one of those 2 on the board. Even if your new Gundam has damage on it, it's still a pretty significant trade. You've already gotten the initial value from killing one of your units and then breaching, and then they have to deal with it. So it's a snowball effect, and that's kind of what this deck is about. There are going to be points where this deck plays very tempo, and then there's going to be points where you are comboing out to a degree. New Gundam into more new Gundams is kind of a pseudo combo, if that makes sense, where if you start your first new Gundam with 4 Londo Bell in the graveyard, you can kind of play a little loose and put that new Gundam you did play out into the battlefield as bait, can have a lot of value. You can maximize the values you can, but ideally you're trying to go new Gundam pair, and then you want to get that Amuro and new Gundam into the graveyard, and then you want to play another new Gundam Amuro because that is basically your 6 Londo Bell. That said, this deck isn't really difficult, other than you need to understand how the tempo plays out differently than your traditional Londo Bell list. You are playing in endgame. You are not usually finishing the game until turn 9 at best. You're still playing it like a wing list, and the Londo Bell actually is kind of there to facilitate that wingzero play style where you're building up, surviving to your big bombs, and just dropping them again and again. And if you are able to, you hold up your close combat and your darkness fingers and your improved techniques for when you can get those trades, or they swing into something like your Kairas for GZ, and you're using those to kind of get some value and keep things off the board. But I think that's about all I really need to say about this deck. It's a really straightforward build, honestly. It's got commands, it's got wing, and it's got Londo Bell. You smash them together, you got a deck. And the commands facilitate the slower gameplay. That's kind of all you need to know. I'd say give this boy a try out. See if Hero and Amuro can carry the day for you. As you saw, it can play against some meta. I have played a number of new decks against this one. I have felt pretty strong against them, especially since, again, as I said, I have generally bigger units and also the ability to finish off new Gundams before they really, really hurt with my commands. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next one.